Nowadays, it's impossible to imagine life without a camera, and we film everything in our lives, from ordinary birds and butterflies to incredibly lucky shots, if we're fortunate. Grab some snacks and drinks to enjoy these captivating moments. If they weren't caught on camera, you never would have believed they actually happened. Enjoy watching the Top Facts channel. Nature is what regularly surprises us. Lightning strikes the planet over 8 million times a year. That means lightning flashes somewhere every second. Fortunately, the probability of getting hit is low, but individual cases deserve a wide audience. During a thunderstorm, be cautious near tall objects and trees. They are more vulnerable to lightning strikes. Although most strikes are recorded in tropical regions like Africa, with the fewest cases in polar regions, we'll show you a remarkable case that happened in the Canadian province of Quebec. A person was filming a thunderstorm, and right in front of him, lightning split a tall tree. Luckily, no one was hurt, except for the tree, of course. Yes, why film a thunderstorm? It's incredibly dangerous. In July 2021, the Gulf of Mexico hit the headlines, and for a reason. It became the hottest, or rather, burning spot in the world. Yes, the ocean caught fire. This video gathered millions of viewers because no one could imagine such a turn of events like this even in a disaster movie. At a depth of 256 feet, an underwater gas pipeline burst, so we can see the orange flames on the ocean's surface. The platform and underwater pipeline belonged to the Mexican oil company Pemex. Such an incident is classified as a disaster, not just a major fire. The situation was brought under control, and there were no human casualties. Of course, this giant heater harmed marine life. The mouth of the fire resembled molten lava, and the site itself looked like a portal to hell. The next heroes of captivating stories are people. When a police officer asked you to show your driver's license, would it occur to you to offer him a donut instead? Especially if you were stopped for speeding. The driver in this video was searching for a document for a long time, and the donut was apparently in his way, so he decided to give it to the policeman. There's a stereotype that all police officers love donuts, just like kids love candy, and it seems in this case, it was true. Only I doubt that the donut would pass for a license. Most likely, there was no violation and the documents were in order. In India, this incident, a small show that happened in an ordinary supermarket due to human ambitions. This seller did not like how the buyer threw money on the counter, so he returned the change the same way. Then the buyer got angry and, not wanting the bow, took additional goods for the amount lying on the floor. It was a rather amusing conflict out of nowhere, but for some reason, the phrase, "the customer is always right," comes to mind. It was invented for the proud employees of the Indian shops. In early 2020, the quiet English town of Somerset was disturbed by news of a strange character. A man in a tight black outfit was scaring residents. A morph suit is like a second skin, and it's impossible to make out facial features of the person in it, especially to guess the intentions of such a person if you meet them in an alley. One woman claimed that he was stalking her and managed to photograph the black man. He was also seen on the beach. He ran towards the girl. The police didn't happen to catch him, and apparently the man knew how to disguise himself well, but he was clearly not okay. The town will remember him for a long time. Successful water landings of airplanes is rare. This small plane crashed into a lagoon somewhere in Micronesia, but all 47 people on board survived. They were lucky that a fisherman was nearby who rushed to help them and called his colleagues, as they managed to save everyone together. Probably the fishermen didn't even think about how dangerous it was for them. They just did everything possible. So, in the most difficult circumstances, simple people can save your life. Some people love insane entertainment, and apparently there are many of them in Japan. This video shows a log riding festival, one of the most dangerous entertainments. It is held every 6 years. in the year of the monkey and of the year of the tiger, according to Eastern calendar. Traditionally, 16 massive logs are delivered to the temple, where they replace the columns, a symbolic construction that should end with a spontaneous descent. Although the festival has been held for 12,000 years, the faint-hearted should not participate. It has little in common with the Olympic Games. Another trick in the Japanese spirit, for those tired of football and tennis, they've come up with something even more interesting. Aerial samurai combat. Yes, it's already a reality. Attach a jetpack and off you go. The only question remains, is this video fake or not? Maybe you know something. Write to us in the comment. A ski resort implies snowy mountains and sparkling white slopes. Yes, alpine skiing is very popular, and as a sport, it was included in the Winter Olympics in 1924. Skiing used to be just a winter means of transportation for farmers and hunters, but now some enthusiasts don't agree to wait for snowfall. In this video, French adventurers decided to ski on autumn leaves in the forest. I hope they made sure there were enough leaves. I don't recommend this trick performing at random if you don't have extensive experience. This daredevil managed to escape from under a frozen lake using an axe. You might ask, how did he get trapped under the ice with an axe? But that's another question. Probably the man decided to experiment. Otherwise, why go under the ice? The video looks frightening because it's dangerous to stay under the icy water without air for a long time. But here we can see that the man managed to break a large enough hole from below and push his head through and breathe. Fortunately, the experiment ended successfully. But still, his goal is unclear. Bicycle motocross is considered an extreme sport, and since 2008, it has become an Olympic sport. Here, people don't just ride a bike and perform cool tricks. It's also called freestyling, and you can show yourself as a hero anywhere. For example, in a park or just in the street, as there won't be a shortage of enthusiastic spectators. A guy named Tate Raskelly uploaded many videos with various tricks on his YouTube channel, and they look extremely risky. But this one definitely stands out. He starts riding on the rear wheel, and the front wheel comes off the frame and rolls towards the wall. The creative finale, the wheel bounces off the wall, and Tate catches it back on the frame. Write your impressions in the comments. Do you believe this is fake? Flyboarding is one of the newest water sports that quickly gained fans. I'll briefly explain how it works. A person stands on a board connected to a long hose and controls the water pressure, which allows them to rise above the water. In this video, various tricks above the water are performed by none other than Gemma Weston from New Zealand, the world champion in flyboarding in the women's group. At the last World Flyboarding Championship in Dubai, she was the best. Such pros can rise to 36 feet above the water and perform acrobatic tricks. Before Gemma started flying on a flyboard, she participated in many TV shows and film projects, including Neverland and the Hobbit trilogy. The Rubik's Cube is named after its inventor, Hungarian Erno Rubik, who invented this clever puzzle in 1974. In the 80s, there was a real boom of its popularity. Every home had such a cube. Did your parents have one, or did you play with one yourself? In 2018, a Chinese teenager named Yu Shangdu set a world record. He managed to solve the Rubik's Cube in just 3.47 seconds. You might say that once you understand the principle, you can do it even faster. And I agree. But the next trick you probably won't repeat. In August 2018, a man named Jeremy Allaire managed to combine the Rubik's Cube with another passion of his, namely skydiving. He solved the cube in free fall in Earth, speeding at 100 miles per hour. Well, you ask me, did he manage to open up his parachute in time? Yes, of course. He managed and became famous. The Olympic Games are the most famous sports competitions since ancient times, and they are still held according to Greek traditions, but with a modern distinction. Now thousands of athletes from around the world participate. and it's one of the most spectacular events. The first modern Olympic Games was on April 6, 1896, and regularly, now every 4 years, there are Winter and Summer Olympic Games. The sacred ritual for athletes is lighting the fire in the stadium with a torch brought from Greece. The fire is transferred to a massive cauldron, and it burns until the end of the competitions. In 1992, the cauldron was lit in a unique way. Spanish archer Antonio Robolo shot a flaming arrow, and it ignited the flame at the top. It was a very beautiful spectacle, and for the athlete, an enormous responsibility, even more than a penalty in football. When a group of people perform together, they can, for example, play in a large orchestra or an incredible composition on a stadium field. In April 2020, during a parade in the USA, a group from Ohio State performed a stunning show. As you see, they depicted the space race between America and Russia. The occasion for the performance was the 50th anniversary for the first man landing on the moon. The Ohio State Marching Band depicted rockets from Apollo 11 and a spaceship with an astronaut and the American flag. How can someone think so creatively and organize such a large number of people? But anyway, the first man in space was Yuri Gagarin, and there's no need to prove it with a show. Cappadocia in Turkey is very popular among tourists. It's a unique place with cave dwellings and a canyon with rock cones. Every year, more than 500,000 people come here to see the wonderful view of hot air balloons. The landscape itself with many balloons is stunningly beautiful, especially at dawn. People don't mind paying $300 for a flight. This landscape was formed by nature over 60 million years ago, and it's a unique place on Earth. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, protected by some troglodyte caves that have been converted into hotels, and you can stay there comfortably. The best time for a flight is from April to November, when the sky is filled with hundreds of colorful balloons. Since the appearance of the Guinness Book of World Records, many people have aspired to get into it. So, people and entire companies come up with unusual show reels. Competitions for this purpose were held worldwide, but the company Aran won. They weren't competing for a record, but decided to advertise their mattresses to reach as many people as possible. They created a video based on the principle of human dominoes. The man mattress pattern repeated the fall for a whole 13 minutes and 38 seconds. The trick was successful on their first attempt. In the end, 1,200 participants set the official world record, which was entered into the Guinness Book of World Records in 2016. And the mattresses were then donated into a charity organization. You can watch animals endlessly, but sometimes they behave frighteningly. If you have arachnophobia, you better skip this story. It seems like the apocalypse started with an invasion of thousands of spiders. In reality, they were trying to escape from the high tide in Australia and rushed to occupy coastal houses. This person, whose house was covered by a swarm of spiders, admitted that he wasn't too worried. He grew up in a country full of dangerous and unattractive animals. But seriously, mass migration in the animal world warns people of impending cataclysms. We think caterpillars are harmless and vulnerable. They only destroy leaves and vegetation. But in Hawaii, a very rare species of carnivorous caterpillars were found. Biologist Steve Montgomery discovered them in a forest in 1972 and took them home to observe. He placed a caterpillar in a jar with a fly. When he returned to check on them, the fly had disappeared. Intrigued, the scientist added another fly to the jar, and before his eyes, the caterpillar grabbed the insect and devoured it in seconds. How these caterpillars became carnivorous remains a mystery, but Steve suggests that it had something to do with the lack of predatory instincts on the island. You know, if there are such caterpillars there, maybe it's not worth going deeper into the forest. The peculiar structure of this fish allows it to stay out of the water for a long time. It can live quite well on land if there's food. The thing is, it breathes with lungs, like all terrestrial animals. It also has gills, and it can obtain oxygen in several ways. Scientists have long been interested in these unusual abilities, and are thinking about how to apply them in medicine and space exploration. Crows can be found everywhere on Earth. They live in cities, forests, and beaches, and even garage dumps. We're going to show you how intelligent birds they can be. They have the largest brain size among birds. It's proven that they can recognize faces, and scientists claim that crows have the intelligence of a 7-year-old child. This episode was published on the BBC channel in 2014. Watch how a smart crow handles a difficult task using a stick. It figured out that it needed a longer stick to get the stones and used hints. It's no coincidence that the crow is often a character in fairy tales that gives clever solutions. Another bird with intelligence. This heron is not simply smart, but extremely cunning and resourceful. To have lunch, it has to compete with swans, and against such tanks, as they say, you can't compete. But the small bird came up with a clever trick. Since it lives near a hotel in Hawaii, there is always a crumb of bread to lure the fish. The heron places the bread in a visible spot and doesn't get distracted, snatches, and it's done. One piece, even catch 2 fish if you're lucky. And that's enough for the day. The main thing is that large fish don't find out that there's free bread here. Every year, chimpanzees suffer from poachers. They are illegally caught and sold. But fortunately, they also have protectors. People and organizations dedicate to protection of wild animals. Dr. Jane Goodall devoted her career to protecting primates, and she has already saved many. This chimpanzee was named Wanda. She was found injured and nursed back to health. Eventually, they returned her back to her habitat. Wanda thanked her saviors and gave them long, tender hugs. So many emotions. I think I'm getting sentimental myself. Food delivery work is one of the most unpredictable professions. You never know who will open the door. In this story, we'll see the craziest experience of a female courier in Moscow. She delivered the pizza, and a monkey, decently dressed, came to get it. As if nothing unusual, the monkey paid and took the box. Apparently, it had done this before. The courier quickly left. The question still remains, was this monkey well trained by its owner, or did the whole family of monkeys order a pizza? Elephants are very smart. They have the largest brain among all land animals. They work together seamlessly, can feel pity and empathy, rejoice, and understand languages. But no one knows if they have bad habits. In 2018, in a national park in India, a camera captured something strange. An elephant seemed to be puffing out smoke as if it had found a hookah. When this place was inspected, it turned out that the elephant was picking up charcoal with its trunk and putting it in its mouth, then blowing out like smoke. The Conservation Society believed that charcoal acts as a laxative and cleanses the body of toxins. It seems elephants also know how to use natural absorbents. Mexican black bears are now endangered. But this is not what made the author of the video so nervous. A woman was kayaking when she saw a couple of black bears. They were desperately climbing a steep cliff. She was afraid not of the attack, but of the bears falling from the heights. This happened in the USA in the Santa Elena Canyon area in Texas. The woman was filming the scene, and she couldn't help the animals. But we can only hope that they reached their goal safely. Dolphins are among the most intelligent animals on the planet. They have personalities and can communicate in their own language with each other. Look, this dolphin recognizes itself in the mirror. But now you'll be amazed at how smart they are. A family was traveling on a boat around Norway, and they were lucky enough to see a white dolphin. It approached them. The little girl was so excited by the encounter that she dropped her phone. It seemed that the joy was over. But no, their surprise was immense when a few minutes later, the white dolphin surfaced with the phone in its mouth. An incredible moment that gives one joy for a lifetime. Driverless technology is a marvel, but what do you say about wonder pilots? Do you think it's possible to teach a dog to drive a car? While you're laughing, I'm answering. In New Zealand, 3 dogs have already learned to accelerate, drive, and turn. When they master parking, they'll take the job of taxi drivers. Meet Porter, the first driving dog in the world. Not the one ridden on, but the one driving. The largest animal protection organization in New Zealand trains animals for rescue professions. They train them and then transfer them to organizations. The experiment was conducted in a collaboration of the Mini Cooper manufacturer, and its purpose was to advertise the organization, to convince how smart and useful dogs are. Abandoned dogs are cared for, trainers work with them, and then we get super dogs. 3 dogs, Porter, Monty, and Guinea, brilliantly showed themselves in the driver's seat. They can control speed, start, move off, and even turn. This video has been watched by millions of people, and it causes amazement, wonder, and a smile. Who knows, we might actually get dog taxis in the future. Many dogs would dream of learning how to drive, but cats prefer to ride. Why fiddle with handles if you can just lie comfortably on the dashboard? The owner says that the cat named Rory loves car rides, immediately taking her favorite spot. Maybe she likes watching the clouds pass by. Such behavior is quite unusual for a domestic cat, so no wonder why this video went viral. Now let's turn to technological processes. There's a lot of interesting stuff here too. Do you think this is computer graphics or real gemstone cutting? It's hard to believe, but the stone is real, though it looks like an element from Minecraft. Such processing can start a new trend in the jewelry industry. If similar stones adorn a necklace, it will have an impact like a lightning strike. Bicycles are so popular in the Netherlands that it seems that there are more bikes than people. In 2016, the Dutch discovered a video online where a bike was riding itself without a rider, like a driveless car. People were inspired by the idea, but it turned out to be a successful prank, and a follow-up story revealed the trick. The bike was pulled by wires, and then special effects were added. But there's some truth in every joke. Since there are self-driving cars, driverless bikes are not too far off. India has a huge population, and people actively travel by trains, and it's the cheapest way. Therefore, railway stations are overcrowded beyond measure. Even on the platform, there's not enough space for everyone who wants to get in on the train. Thousands of people strive not to get a seat, but just to squeeze in. Imagine a long journey like this. The train is designed for around 2,500 people, and during peak hours, there can be over 4,500 passengers. Only during the pandemic was the railway somewhat unloaded. Do you travel by train on your trips? Would you dare get into such carnage? Traffic jams is one of the worst events that can ruin your day, but I can assure you all your options are not that bad. What we see here is a real hell for motorists. It happened when people in China were returning from vacation and trying to enter Beijing. You ask, did the entire population of the city get a vacation on the same date? This day became the longest traffic jam the world had ever seen. People were trapped for 3 days just to travel 62 miles. The traffic jam lasted 12 days on this section and made 3 years' profit for small traders. According to authorities, the cause of this road nightmare was a sharp increase in the number of trucks entering Beijing. Maybe it's better to go by train. Residents of megacities constantly complain about transportation fatigue. But what about you saying after watching this story about street traffic in the capital of Ethiopia? Addis Ababa is a large city, but it's a bit chaotic. However, doesn't it bother you that everyone on this intersection is somehow miraculously moving? We could not find a single traffic light. Apparently, local drivers have the innate ability to negotiate from a distance. Just imagine the residents of Moscow or New York trying to live like this for just an hour. I don't know which is more in Amsterdam, boats or bikes. Water transportation here is also very popular. Every 5 years, the boat parade is held here. Sail Amsterdam. It was first held in 1975 in honor of the city's 700th anniversary. And since then, millions of people from all over the world come to see diverse boats and ships. To give an idea of what this event looked like, in 2015, a local YouTube channel made a slow-motion video of the water traffic. Everything looks no less chaotic than the African intersections. If you love surfing but are afraid of getting hurt by coral, fighting with the locals, or meeting sharks, then head to South Korea. The Wave Garden Company built the largest water park for surfers. It can recreate 20 different types of waves from 20 inches to 6.5 feet. Practice tricks with turns and passing in the tube. Plus, the surf park guarantees crystal clear and hygienically safe water. They used advanced purification and filtration technology. What do you say? Would you be excited for this? Some quickly demolish, some quickly build. China is already known for its promptness. There are no long-term constructions, but the world appreciates the speed when, during the pandemic, China needed to urgently build hospitals with thousands of beds. This project was realized in just 5 days. China's response to the pandemic was so lightning fast that it saved thousands of lives. Isn't this worthy of a Guinness Book of World Records? Ships undergo crash tests. For example, in this video, the US Navy ship Jackson is undergoing the so-called shock trial. Ships are tested for how well they withstand underwater explosions, how the hull and the equipment react to strong vibrations, as well as shock waves. Agree, military equipment is an insanely expensive pleasure, and these shock tests are mandatory. The event itself is not simple. You need to choose a safe place and suitable weather conditions. Jackson successfully passed the test and is now headed for service. If you live near an airport, the constant noise of low-flying planes can be annoying. There are several places on Earth, like Area 51, where flying is prohibited. Over residential areas, flights are also not allowed. Therefore, a low-flying plane over a city causes alarm, especially if there were no warnings. This happened in January 2019 in the American city of Nashville, Tennessee, when a military plane flew low over buildings. It flew for more than an hour, and people watched from office windows, not understanding anything. It turned out that exercises were being conducted before the inauguration of the governor of Tennessee. The problem was that no one was warned in advance. We've all heard of rocket and satellite crashes. There are many disappointments in space exploration. However, the results of test flights have improved significantly over the years. SpaceX, a company founded in 2002 by former PayPal and Tesla shareholder Elon Musk to reduce the cost of space flights, significantly improved them over the years. Well, let's be honest, the company's goal is the colonization of Mars. The Starship SN-10 rocket is one of the company's most advanced projects. They create a reusable vehicle for transporting people to space and back. Yes, something like that taxi. The 9 previous versions also underwent tests, but never made a successful landing. They exploded either on takeoff or landing. And now we're witnessing a successful 10th attempt. This is not a video game. Yes, they achieved the incredible. Landed the rocket on the same spot where it was launched. February 18, 2021 became a breakthrough in the exploration of Mars. A robotic rover launched by NASA on July 30, 2020 made a successful landing in the Jezero crater on the surface of the red planet. This structure, called Ingenuity, combines 2 vehicles, a rover and a small helicopter, and it was the first robot to reach another planet. The mission of the device was supposed to last 30 days and gather sensational data. Sometimes you don't need to go to space to discover incredible things. Some might await you on the streets. Recycling plastic is a useful thing, but some enthusiasts approach it creatively. How do you like a whole castle built from thousands of plastic bottles? Anyone can donate their bottles for a continuation of the construction and for the benefit of nature conservation. Although I'm not a fan of such a style, I tell you it's much better than objectively seeing garbage. The Sandbox is a children's department, but some adults apparently haven't played enough. They turned it into a business competition. Every year, cool sand sculptures appear on social networks, looking very realistic. And now, a novelty. The company Booking.com created a real sandcastle where you can actually live. This sand hotel is located on Coney Island in New York, and you can stay here for just $29 per night. The local beach is very popular among tourists. The room is available only in the summer. It has a bed, shower, bathroom, and air conditioning, as well as beach accessory. I wonder, does it crumble in the winter? Part of the decorations for a festival in the Chinese province of Henan decided to show its own show on the streets. A giant moon globe escaped from the platform and caused problems on the road. It's funny when the moon rolls off orbit, but how would you feel if such things moved towards you on the road and the wind only pushed it? The fake moon collided with several cars and people. In the future, it's better to tie down everything that can roll away like a bun. I hope you enjoyed these incredible moments. Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the episode and want to see something similar, or maybe the next part, subscribe to the Top Facts channel and watch our previous episodes now.